Plant once, harvest for life. 7 long-living vegetables that grow like nut trees for home gardens. Imagine planting a leafy green once and then watching it come back year after year, quietly filling your garden with fresh, nutritious leaves without the usual yearly replanting routine. That's the magic of perennial vegetables. Plants that stay in your garden, grow deeper roots, and give you harvest after harvest with less work and more reward. In this guide, I'll explore 7 of these long-living leafy wonders that behave more like garden trees than annual crops, helping you grow a garden that nourishes you for life. Get ready to discover plants that will keep on growing season after season, almost like they were made to be part of your home forever. One, moringa, the super green tree that keeps on feeding. Moringa is often called the miracle tree of life because its leaves are incredibly nutritious and can be harvested again and again once the tree is established. This fast-growing tropical tree produces tender leaves rich in vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, making them a powerful addition to salads, soups, and smoothies. Unlike annual greens that need replanting each season, a healthy moringa tree can keep producing leaves for many years without starting over in your garden. Its robust growth also makes it useful as a hedge or living fence around home gardens, giving you multiple benefits from a single perennial plant. What makes moringa especially rewarding for home gardeners is how easy it is to harvest without weakening the tree. By pruning back branches and picking the young leaves, you encourage fresh new growth and keep your tree producing more edible greens over time. The leaves contain a wide range of nutrients, including vitamins A, C, iron, and protein that help boost health and nourish your family straight from your garden. Many gardeners treat moringa as a garden centerpiece plant because it looks beautiful and feeds you year after year. Growing moringa is quite forgiving compared to many other leafy greens because it thrives in warm, sunny locations with well-drained soil and tolerates drought once established. In tropical or subtropical climates, this tree can grow quickly and you can harvest its leaves at almost any time of year. Just be mindful to reserve some branches each time so the tree continues to flourish and produce new leaves. With this ongoing cycle of growth and harvest, moringa truly becomes a long-lasting leafy green staple in your home garden. Two, tree collards, tall greens that feed you all season. Tree collards are like collard greens that decided to grow up, literally turning into woody perennial leafy plants that can stay productive for many seasons. Unlike everyday collard greens grown as annuals, these tree-like collards keep their leaves year after year with minimal replanting, making them perfect for a plant once, harvest for life garden. Gardeners prune tree collards just like you would a shrub, picking off leaves regularly to encourage lots of fresh, tender greens right from your own yard. They add a unique vertical element to a garden and provide abundant leafy food without the yearly planting routine most vegetables require. These tall leafy greens are incredibly versatile in the kitchen and can be used much like other greens such as kale, spinach, or ordinary collards, steamed, sautéed, or added to soups. Because they stay in the garden through different seasons, you can grab fresh leaves even when other vegetables aren't at their peak. For many people who want consistent leafy harvests with low maintenance, tree collards are a dreamlike solution, giving you productivity that feels almost perennial and tree-like in behavior. Garden landscapes with these leafy giants often become a reliable source of greens without the usual annual planting hassle. To care for tree collards, give them plenty of sun and water while they are getting established, and then enjoy harvest by trimming leaves throughout the growing season. Regular pruning doesn't hurt them. In fact, it stimulates more lush growth that you can pick and eat. Over time, these plants develop woody stems that support lots of foliage, making them both a beautiful garden feature and a long-life vegetable resource. Three, Chaya, tree spinach, a perennial leaf powerhouse. Chaya, sometimes called tree spinach or Mayan spinach, is a leafy perennial shrub that thrives in warm climates and keeps giving greens with every harvest. Unlike typical annual spinach that bolts or dies back, Chaya grows back season after season as a steady, leafy food source for your home garden. Its leaves are cooked like spinach or collards and are known to be more productive and higher in nutrients than many common leafy vegetables. Chaya's strong, woody stems and lush, deep green leaves make it look like a leafy shrub that feeds you year after year with minimal replanting. When growing chaya, gardeners often prune back parts of the plant to harvest fresh leaves while encouraging new growth to fill in the space. Because chaya is a perennial, it doesn't need replanting. You simply keep picking leaves as they grow. Like tree collards and moringa, it becomes part of your garden's permanent structure rather than a crop you sow each season. Many people find that once chaya is rooted in their garden, they have almost a continuous source of cooked greens without all the yearly planting chores. Cooking chaya leaves is essential because they have naturally occurring compounds that should be broken down through heat, just like with many leafy greens. Once prepared properly, chaya becomes a tasty and nutritious addition to soups, stews, and stir-fries that complements your other garden harvests. Harvesting this leafy shrub year after year makes it feel more like a friendly garden companion than a typical vegetable, one that rewards patience and care with continuous healthy greens. For anyone seeking a truly long-term leafy perennial, chaya fits beautifully into your planting plan. Four, asparagus, the classic perennial spear that keeps giving. Asparagus is one of the most beloved perennial vegetables for home gardens because once it's established, it keeps producing delicious spears year after year. After planting the young crowns in a well-prepared bed, you won't need to replant them annually. They will come back in spring, often for 2 decades or more with proper care. This long-living nature makes asparagus feel almost like a vegetable tree in your garden, steadily returning season after season with minimal fuss. Not only is it productive, but it also adds structural beauty to your garden with its ferny foliage in summer. What most home gardeners love about asparagus is that after the first couple of years of establishment, the plants become remarkably productive and resilient. In spring, those fresh green spears shoot up quickly, and you can harvest them while they re-still tender and sweet before they open into fern-like leaves. The deep root system means asparagus is also more drought-resistant and stable once it's mature, helping it thrive with less daily attention than annual veggies. Many gardeners find that a well-placed asparagus patch becomes a cherished perennial feature in their garden design. To get the most out of your asparagus bed, it's wise to choose the right sunny location with fertile, well-drained soil before planting roots. Avoid harvesting too much during the first seasons so the plants can build strong roots that support future growth and harvests. With a bit of seasonal compost and mulch, your asparagus patch will remain productive and healthy, saving you time each spring and giving a sense of satisfaction that lasts for years. It's no wonder many gardeners think of asparagus as a long-term investment crop. Plant it once, and it continues to reward you like clockwork. 5. Rhubarb. Tart stalks from a hardy, long-living bed. Rhubarb is a unique perennial vegetable that many people plant for both its culinary uses and garden presence, with tall, bold stalks that return every spring. Once your rhubarb plants are established, they can survive for decades and continue producing flavorful stalks without replanting. Gardeners often think of rhubarb as one of those plant once and harvest forever crops because it becomes a reliable and low-maintenance part of the vegetable patch. While the leaves are toxic and never eaten, the vibrant stalks are prized for pies, jams, and sauces with a tangy, refreshing flavor. Growing rhubarb is all about patience at the start. New plants should be left alone to develop a robust root system for the first year or two without heavy harvesting. As the years pass, your rhubarb bed will thicken and spread, giving you hardy stalks every spring with minimal effort. These are the kinds of garden staples that quietly keep feeding your family year after year without the need for reseeding or replanting like annual crops. Rhubarb also adds handsome foliage and architectural presence to the garden, making it enjoyable both to eat and to admire. To help your rhubarb flourish for a long life, plant it in fertile soil that gets plenty of sun and water it regularly during dry spells. Mulching around the plants helps conserve moisture and suppress weeds so the roots stay undisturbed and vigorous. With proper care, rhubarb becomes more than just a vegetable. It becomes a garden anchor plant you count on every spring, giving you both flavor and resilience year after year. Six. Jerusalem artichokes. Nutty tubers that thrive with little effort. Jerusalem artichokes, sometimes called sunchokes, are an extraordinary perennial you can plant once and enjoy harvest after harvest for years on end. These tall sunflower-like plants produce an abundance of edible tubers with a sweet, nutty flavor that's perfect roasted, mashed, or added to stir-fries. Once the plants are established in your garden bed, they naturally return each season and often multiply underground, giving you more tubers without extra planting. Their resilience and minimal care needs make them a favorite for gardeners looking for hardy perennial edibles that reward effort over the long term. One of the special things about Jerusalem artichokes is how well they spread and come back with vigor, even in less than perfect soil conditions. They're forgiving plants that can handle a range of sunlight and soil types, though they do best in fertile, well-drained ground. Many gardeners find that a dedicated bed of this perennial vegetable becomes a reliable source of fresh produce each year with only seasonal harvesting and simple care. The visual appeal of their tall stalks with bright yellow blooms also adds height and texture to garden designs. Harvesting Jerusalem artichokes is easy. You can dig tubers in autumn once the plant foliage dies back, or even leave them in the ground to be harvested throughout winter and early spring. Leaving a few tubers behind means the plant will grow back again next year, ready to harvest once more without replanting. This cycle of growth and reward makes Jerusalem artichokes feel almost like planting a perennial source of energy in your garden. If you want a vegetable that feels alive and productive in your landscape for many seasons, few plants deliver like this one. Seven. Other leafy perennials. Greens that keep on growing. Beyond moringa, tree collards, and chaya, there is a whole world of leafy perennial greens that can become garden staples you don't have to replant every year. These plants aren't annual like common spinach or lettuce. They're hardy, resilient, and return season after season once they take root in your garden bed. When you choose perennial vegetables, You're investing in a garden that feeds you with less work over many seasons rather than starting fresh every spring. That's the magic of perennial gardening. Plant once, and nature keeps giving back year after year. One classic example of a perennial leafy green is sorrel, a tangy, lemon-flavored green that pops up early in spring and continues to give leaves without needing to be replanted each year. Sorrel has deep roots that help it survive cold weather and come back strong, making it a reliable leafy harvest when other greens may still be slow to grow. Because the leaves are edible and flavorful, sorrel becomes a welcome early season treat in soups, salads, and sauces straight from the garden. Gardeners love it for its longevity and bright taste, and it's just one of many perennial greens that can fill your garden with fresh leaves for years. Another leafy perennial option that works in warm climates is Malabar spinach, also known as vine spinach, which isn't a true spinach but produces soft, lush leaves throughout the growing season without needing replanting. This vining plant thrives in heat and humidity, climbing up trellises and producing edible greens when many other leafy vegetables struggle in high temperatures. Perennial leafy greens like sorrel, Malabar spinach, and other hardy broadleaf plants help you create a sustainable, low-maintenance harvest cycle where you spend less time sowing seeds and more time enjoying fresh, homegrown greens. Plant them once, and they'll keep returning to nourish your table year after year.